this season. As we hope to show you some B-roll, he'll serve as the vice captain. He's the longest actively tenured NTSC player, having arrived in 2015. He enters the season having played the seventh most games. And let's bring him in right now. It's Miller time. Stephen Miller. There he is. Stephen Miller, we're at home with you. Thanks for being on the program.
Yeah, happy to be here. This is exciting for me, Dean. Good to connect with you again.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I was thinking about this today at home with, and I had to giggle at myself thinking about, what a tiny little brain I have on how unoriginal I am with, it's Miller time, right? Like I'm the first person to ever think of that, but it just rolls off the tongue. And
Yeah.
every time you do something great, I love saying it, Stephen Miller. Is that all right?
Oh, of course, of course. I love hearing it.
Well, good, because you've had a lot of great moments last year, big time moment, but I really like your journey because you know what? You and I have had some good discussions away from the cameras, away from the field. And you've told me it's not always been easy. You had to deal with different personalities as a coach, but you fought on. And you fought on, in my opinion, Stephen Miller, to become the consummate professional. That's my take. Talk about your journey.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. As you said, it has been a journey. I didn't take the traditional route to becoming a pro. I went to Colgate, and my family always stressed in education, and that was important to me. So I didn't, play in the ACC like a lot of my teammates, and it was always more about education for me. And then I didn't really know what I wanted to do past college, and the opportunity presented itself for me to continue my career, and I took it. I was drafted back all the way in 2012 by Montreal Impact, and that kind of started this crazy journey that I've been on for the past 9 years almost. But unfortunately, I was the last player not to sign with Montreal, and kind of didn't really know where I was going to go because every other team had filled up their rosters. So I went back to school, back to Colgate, and I coached to stay around the game, and then ended up getting an opportunity the next winter to go over to Denmark. And I was never the person that wanted to, the American that wanted to play in Europe. I never had ambitions to go overseas and play like a lot of Americans, but I kind of had to take that. And so I went over to Denmark in 2013 and spent a year there before coming back here, and then signed with Wilmington USL, went over to Tulsa in 2015 after that. And then at the end of 2015 came on loan here and have been here ever since. So it's definitely been a journey, and bounced around a lot in the early part of my career, but really love Raleigh and happy to have been here at home for the past 5 years.
All right, I've called some games at Colgate. That place is beautiful. So I appreciate you touching on that. And in the second segment, we're going to go a little deeper. I do want to send a special note. Our executive producer, Jorge Acuna, did say that we had 5 seconds of audio break at the start. Apologize for that. I do love, though, Stephen Miller, that you went into all of the trails of that journey. I want to hear the early days because I say on the air, you're Philly tough. Chester, PA, that is a tough place to grow up. Talk about growing up just outside of Philly, because one, the Eagles fans are amazing, right? There's a lot of pride there, but there's also a lot of pride in being Philly tough.
Yeah, well, I'm not from Chester, and that's probably a good thing. Chester's not the best area. I'm from Bucks County, so just north of the city, but
Okay.
still, those same qualities. It's just kind of a blue collar city up there. So yeah, I've kind of prided myself in my career on my work ethic and just kind of grinding through it, and that's exactly what it's been for most of my career. It's not easy to bounce around, like I said, and bring it every single day. I think that's the biggest difference between somebody who lasts 2 years as a pro and somebody who lasts 10. Can you do it every single day for 10 months? And then in the off season, you get back after it again. So um, I definitely do attribute a lot of that to my upbringing and where I'm from and having to compete with everybody in Philadelphia and around where I grew up.
Of course, when Philly won the Super Bowl, you had a little contest with Sam Mewis, I believe, who is obviously a big New England fan. Just take us down memory lane on that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was great. So I reached out to Sam on Twitter and I said, we got to bet on this game. And she agreed to it. And she actually hasn't owned up to her part of the bet. So I got to call her on that. But I think what it was, she had to say that Philly is the best sports city on camera while wearing an Eagles memorabilia. I'm not sure if that was the exact bet, but no, it was awesome. Just watching that game literally on the edge of your seat for every single play up until the final whistle, final down. So um, something that I didn't realize just how big a city, a football city Philly was until we won the Super Bowl and there's riots in the streets, just watching it from afar. But it was just incredible. And there's so many happy people. I hope we can get back there at some point.
Well,
Hopefully it's
part of the reason we call this at home with is because we can't do anything else. This is unprecedented times as the entire world is dealing with this pandemic, just hoping that we can get back to doing what we love. You on the field, me in the broadcast booth, Jorge being the great Jorge, all of our great fans, the Oak City supporters, Ryan Jernigan cheering everybody on and getting back to it. What have you been doing with your time, Stephen Miller?
Yeah, I've actually been incredibly busy. Obviously, we still have to stay fit. We don't know what's going to happen, so been running, lifting, training a ton, um, and there's really no excuse not to. Obviously, we got nothing else going on. But one of the things that's been great, the club actually set up this career workshop for us that kind of focuses on life after our career. And I'll say it. I've said it a lot. I think that's the best thing the club has done for the players, because it's looking out for them outside of the game, and it's been incredible. Chris Mumford, Bobby Hammonds helped set it up. Chris Mumford is the workshop leader, who's a part of the accelerator school as well. He's kind of leading this workshop, and it's just helping us get our resume together, helping us with interview skills, looking into job opportunities, anything that will help us for our lives after soccer. And it's just been absolutely incredible. Me as an older guy, who knows how many years I have left. So I've been preparing because I've been in school, but I just, you never know when you're gonna have to walk away from the game. So this has been something I felt has been such a valuable asset for me to be able to build these tools and just prepare for when that time comes, because soccer isn't going to last forever, and who knows what's going to happen with when COVID um, is over. But so I've been really busy with that. I've been busy with my classes, with school, and then I'm just trying to pick up a couple extra skills. So I want to get into data analytics, so I'm doing a lot of coding on the side, trying to learn some computer languages, and then just doing stuff around the house and hanging out with my dog and my fiance, and just kicking back and grilling a lot. Yeah, so I'm actually working out with Taylor a lot too, doing some hit workouts. So when you can't leave the house, you're forced to spend a lot of time with your significant others, and it's been good because if we can make it through quarantine, I don't think we'll have an issue with marriage.
That's so well said. And that is big news as we congratulated you. We talked about it on the air even during that first game. That's a big move. Congratulations on your
Thanks.
engagement and then your marriage to come. Have you had to move dates back at all, Stephen? Or are you still good?
Yeah, so we most likely will have to. We scheduled for December, so we're most likely going to have to push that. Just there's so much uncertainty, as you guys know. Uh, it's a risk if we were to have it then. We don't know if people are going to be able to travel, so we will most likely be moving it. But yeah, it's
Well, you
unfortunate,
two,
but
yeah, you two are a beautiful couple, and she's super successful as well, right? She's getting it done in the classroom.
yeah, she just finished her last year of law school, so she just graduated, and now she took a week where she was just hanging out, relaxing, and she starts studying for the bar full time on Monday. So we're gonna enjoy the weekend here, and then she's hitting the books for like 8 hours a day every day for the next few months. So
All
I
right.
guess we can celebrate once she's past the bar.
That is big time. Send her our best and wish her our best in taking the bar. Before we go to break, going back to your journey, you had success under Colin Clark. He put you out there. You knew where you stood. Sometimes it was tough. Sometimes it was good. You worked through all of that. You know exactly what I mean. Talk about what it was like playing for Colin Clark, and then we're going to get to Dave Sarachan.
Yeah, no, I loved playing for Colin. Colin gave me a shot, and I'll always be indebted to him for that. He took a chance on me as a guy who he brought me in as a right back, and I had played 3 career games as a right back in my life. I'd never played defense until like literally a month before I came here. And he took a shot on me, and he saw something in me, and really, for as long as he was the coach, any game that I was healthy, I played. Yeah, he got on me, especially when I was on his flank, and maybe a ball went under my foot, ran out of bounds right to him, and he'd get on me, but he got on everybody, and that's just how he was. There's a little bit of tough love, and But it was love. He really did want the best for us. And I grew as a player for sure. I grew some thick skin too. But I have nothing bad to say about Colin. He really helped develop me as a player, and I really loved the time I spent playing under him.
I really appreciated Stephen Miller, the time that you give me again as I prepare for games. And as they brought in Dave Sarakin, make no mistake, you knew he was a big time coach. You're not the U.S. national team coach if you're not a coach. You're not an MLS Cup winning coach if you're not a great coach. But you admitted some nerves. You admitted that you just weren't sure. Talk about those nerves and how you knew that you were going to be okay.
Yeah, it's always nerve wracking when you bring in a new coach. When you've played under a coach who has played you all the time, there's really only one way to go. In my head, that's how I kind of saw it. Right, I played every minute. I was successful. I was a big part of the team. And if you bring somebody else in, you never know what's going to happen. So for me, I was definitely worried. Uh, and it came out in preseason last year. Preseason, I remember we met. I met with Dave maybe a week or two in, and we had a conversation. I said, I'm nervous. I haven't been nervous. And I said, this is good. This is motivating me. I haven't been nervous to play in a few years, probably since I came on trial here when Colin was coaching. Um, but Dave understood it. I mean, you know what kind of guy he is, a great guy, easy to talk to, and he lets you play. So those nerves pretty quickly relaxed, and I was able to play and maybe probably play some of the best soccer I've ever played because I was confident and I was relaxed and I knew that I could go out and not be afraid to make mistakes. Um, so yeah, those nerves, I wasn't sure, and there is always uncertainty when you have a new coach. But it worked out as good as I could have expected. I love Dave; he's a great guy, and we have a really great relationship.
Well, and really, you had a great year. So it felt like everybody bought into Dave Sarakin, which, if you meet Dave Sarakin, you can see why.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He really, away from the field, an amazing guy. On the field, an amazing guy. It's the same personality. He's really laid back. He cares about everybody. He'll come in. He'll ask how you're doing. Ask about he'll ask about Taylor. He really does care, and that carries so much weight in the locker room. We're more than just a piece of the machine on the field, right? We're humans, so it's nice to know that somebody that we're going to work for actually cares about us when we're not working. But he's a great guy, and he's a really good man manager, and he does care about everybody. And he's created this culture here where we fight for each other, and we want to be a part of this together. And we have a tight knit group, and everybody, the locker room's great. There's nobody that has an ego, and there's nobody that's bigger than the team. And that's something that he's created here, and it's really been fun to play for him.
We're at home with Stephen Miller. Going to take a commercial break. I'm going to catch my breath and we'll be back with more.
Welcome to Wake Med Children's. Come on! Specialized care. Teeny tiny babies. To teens and really sick and hurt kids. By doctors, surgeons, nurses, and support teams. All pediatric trained. And super nice. And a gazillion pediatric specialties. Even an emergency department just for kids. Know what? I'm feeling better already. Wake Med Children's, your children's hospital, and a whole lot more. Welcome to Wake Med Children's. Come on, specialized care.
Nearly 150 years of experience goes into making each and every Continental tire. So you can trust with total confidence that our tires will deliver superior performance, no matter where the road takes you. Continental Tire, for what you do.
Welcome back to At Home With. We're at home with Stephen Miller, the vice captain of North Carolina FC. I'm Dean Linke, delighted to be with you. Want to thank again the great corporate partners of the club for bringing you this special series At Home With. I dig it because I don't know if you've watched Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis. Have you seen that, Stephen Miller?
I haven't. I
Oh my
haven't.
goodness, you got to watch it. I guarantee you, Ryan Jernigan, he's watched it because it fits his personality, I'm sure. But I kind of dig the graphics and everything. I feel like Jorge and the team did a wonderful job. It's been a lot of fun. You're our third member now, as we've had Kerry Recaro on, and we had the birthday boy on, Robbie Cristo. Happy birthday, by the way, to Robbie. As it's today, right? Today's his
Yeah,
birthday.
today's his
All
birthday.
right.
27, I think.
Okay. I wonder if he's going to change the dye on that mohawk he's got going there. What do you think of that look?
It's as Robbie as it gets.
That's perfectly said. All right. I told you I called some games at Colgate. Colgate was a regular fixture for the then named NSCAA College Game of the Week on Fox Soccer Channel that I did for 10 plus years. And both the men's team and the women's team had us come up there. That place is awesome. It is beautiful as we see you during your Colgate days. What makes Colgate so special to you, Stephen Miller?
Yeah, it's kind of the best of every world to me. Obviously, you have um, great academics. It's a great academic school. It's a really small school, so it's really intimate, and you have really good personal connections with everybody. You know a ton of people, and you have really intimate relationships with your professors and your other classmates. But also, it's Division One athletics, so it's really good athletics. And so for me, in the recruiting process, those were all things that were important to me. And I wanted a place where I could play from the beginning and make an impact. So I really felt like I checked all the boxes by going to Colgate, and I have nothing but fond memories of that place. And it was great to be able to go back up there last October.
Okay, well, that's a great lead in. You liked Colgate. Well, guess what? Colgate liked you. You are now on their wall of fame. There you are. I don't care what you say. If you're in a Hall of Fame, wall of fame, that means something really big.
Yeah, I struggle to put it into words because it is so special to me. Just I still think it's something that hasn't really sunk in how big like of an accomplishment it is. But it Colgate gave me so many good memories and gave me so much. And I felt like I gave a lot to Colgate too. I poured my heart there for it for 4.5 years, and but I loved every second of it. And so to be recognized um, for my work on the field, for everything that I did, it was really special. And last October, I got inducted into the Hall of Honor, and got to go up to Hamilton, New York for the first time in, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, with my parents and Taylor, and spend time with my coach and my old trainer who helped me through a lot of surgeries and injuries and the whole deal. It was just such a special weekend, special night. Actually, I was only there for 24 hours before coming back here to play Red Bulls. But it was so special, and it brought back so many memories. And like I said, it's hard to put into words what it means to me. But every time I think about it, I feel it. Like I just love that school and everything that it gave me. And I hope that I gave it just a little bit of what it gave me.
You were at Colgate from 2007 to 2011, and you actually earned the Patriot League Offensive Player of the Year honors when you scored 12 goals in one season. Take me back to that campaign and winning that award.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I had an interesting career. So my first 2 years, we won the league and made it to the NCAA tournament, and then I got hurt and I had a bunch of surgeries, and it was a really tough stretch, and I had a red shirt my junior year. My senior year, I was just recovering, getting back. I got cleared like 2 days before the season started, and I struggled through the season. I did okay, but it was tough. And then so I redshirted, so I stayed for a fifth year, and I finally felt like I was getting healthy again, and that was my year. So I did. I had a good year. I had 12 goals, and it's funny because I look back at that season and we changed systems, and I was a lone striker, and I'd never played as a lone striker before, and I didn't feel like I was taking over any games like I used to. I didn't feel like I was the man like I used to be my first couple of years. But I ended up with 12 goals and did really well. So it was it was a great year. We won the league again. We made it to the NCAA tournament for a third time, so that was really special. But it kind of set the stage for me, and I realized I think that I could maybe continue to do this at the professional level.
This one will throw you off a little bit, but as Kurt Johnson, the president, GM, and longtime friend, I've known him since the 1990s. He'll laugh at this because I always got to find a way to tie it back to me in some way, Stephen Miller, even though I have nothing to do with it. But next year at Colgate, there's going to be a basketball player named Oliver Lynch Daniels that won the North Carolina Catholic Middle School Championship with my son. He transferred from Houston Baptist, sat out a year. I'm telling you, the kid's legit. Did you ever go to any Colgate basketball games? A, B, get ready to watch Oliver Lynch Daniels.
Yeah, I went to a couple back in the day, but I'm telling you, the team is great now. They're a lot better now than they were. They won the Patriot League last year, made it to the NCAA tournament, and pushed Tennessee to the brink in 2019. And then this year they won the regular season and got upset in the final at home. But they're up and coming. They got a great coach, Matt Langle, and he's doing the right things, bringing in a guy like Oliver.
Yeah, he's
So no,
legit. He went
it's
to
exciting
Cardinal
time.
Evans High School, so down the road from Wake Med
Yeah, that's
Soccer
awesome.
Park. So looking forward to that. And as you know, I love the old timers. Now in the booth with me is Austin Toulouse. I used to love talking about T. Shipalani. I think we might have some video of those guys, Austin Toulouse and T. Shipalani. You played with them for years, and now they've both made the decision to go ahead and retire and hang up the boots. And Stephen, as you see them go, how does that move you? What do you think about as you see these guys that were not only great teammates, but great friends?
Yeah, it's always tough. It's always tough. It's bittersweet for me because obviously I love playing with them, love having them in the locker room. They're great players, great guys. You love the banter from both of them. So it's tough for me individually. But when somebody can, I guess, come to grips with their retirement and be okay with it, be content with it, that makes me happy. Because it's difficult for athletes who have been, this your identity is attached to you as a soccer player, and it's been that way your whole life. So for you to be able to accept that and step away from it and do it on your own terms, that's something I think is special. So for Austin and T to be able to do that and now pursue other things in their lives, I think it's great. Um,
Yeah, how
yeah,
fun is this? We're watching the human highlight reel right there. T. Shipalani. Stephen, when you realize that he put his shorts on backwards for a reason, what did the guys say to him about that?
I'm still questioning it. I think it happened. I think it happened one game, and he scored a goal, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just going to keep doing it." I like the story how he says, "Oh, it's just so people can know who burned them when they
Yeah.
turn around, they see the number on the back of his shorts."
Yeah, that's
But
how
I
he
mean,
tells it to me. That's how I repeat it. Then he tried to back down off of that when USL came to talk to him, and he said, "No, that's not true." And I had to call him out. I'm like, "You kidding me? Like you told that to me to my face." And he's like, "Yeah, I got a little nervous or whatever." Do you still see T in Austin at all?
I see Austin a good amount. I haven't seen T. I see him at a couple games here and there. I haven't seen him as much, but I see Austin. I talk to Austin almost every day. Um, so yeah, it's funny because when I came in, those were the older guys, and now they've moved on, and now I'm the old guy. So it's interesting how it works. It doesn't take long to get there. It's a year and 2 years later, and you're like, damn, I went from being young to being old real quick.
Now you keep playing the way you're playing, you can stay forever. I always say one of the things I love about my job is because of people like you. I love my job because of people like you, because you're an incredible athlete. I always wanted to be one, so why not talk about one? My opinion is if you want to keep playing and you can get out there, you keep playing. Will you go with that?
I'm good with that. We'll see how everybody else is with that on my side. But no, I want to play as long as I can. While I'm still enjoying it, while I'm still progressing, feel like I'm getting better. That's what I've always said. As long as I'm still loving the game and still feel like I'm making strides and not taking steps the opposite direction where it might not be going as well, or I might not be affecting the game or the team as much as I feel like I have in the past. And maybe it's time to think about it. But I don't think I'm there yet, dude.
Well, I don't want you to be because you got a great midfield. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about your fellow midfield mates, Nasby Abadawi, Dre Fortune, Graham Smith, Ben Spees, the whole gang. That's who we're going to talk about after this break. Guess what, folks? We're at home with Miller Time, Stephen Miller.
At Coastal Credit Union, we offer financial services, but we're not a bank, and that's a good thing. Here's why. Banks answer to Wall Street. At Coastal, we're owned by our members. That means we answer to you. Banks charge their customers inflated, unnecessary fees to increase their profits. We actually share our profits with our members through higher dividends, better rates, and lower fees. Find out more about how we're different than banks and how we work harder for you and your money at bankbetter.org.
If you have recently suffered an injury or had surgery, let the experts at Select Physical Therapy get you back to an active lifestyle. Our comprehensive programs deliver the highest level of physical therapy, hand therapy, sports medicine, and work health rehabilitation. Our highly skilled therapists develop individualized treatment plans to exceed your expectations. So don't live in pain. To request an appointment today, visit selectphysicaltherapy.com. Select Physical Therapy.
Hello again, everybody. At Home with Stephen Miller, brought to you by the North Carolina Football Club and, of course, the great partners of the North Carolina Football Club. We thank all the partners as they're hanging in with us, and we hope to get back out there, get that ball out there, start scoring goals, start blasting out Miller time. And how about North Carolina FC? And Stephen, really enjoying it. Love the smile on your face. I can tell that you're in a good place right now, even during a tough time. That's great because good things happen to good people. You got a lot of good people around you, and we might show some video, but it's pretty neat to have Nasby Abadawi back. He's a great leader. He'll be the captain with you. Dre Fortune, a local product. The piano carrier, Graham Smith, doesn't seek the limelight, but delivers the goods. And then Ben Spees. As you look at the video here, talk about the players that you're seeing up there, Stephen.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Nas, he's one of my best friends. Been here for a while. Obviously, everybody knows him. Just an unbelievable player. And then Dre, it's great to see him develop over the past few years. Toulouse and I are actually people who advocated for him to get him on trial here, and he's just been incredible. Grammy, one of my boys from home, grew up 15 minutes away from me. Just does everything he can. Just like you said, he doesn't seek the limelight. He just works hard. And then Benny Spees, probably the most creative player I've played with. He sees things that I don't even know how he sees them. I don't see him, and I'm facing the opposite direction. But just an incredible player too. And these are some of my best friends on the team, so it's great to be able to share the midfield with them, and see the guys who have played with me for a longer time, and then see the younger guys develop too. It's really fun.
Shout out to Kyle McHugh. That was some great video coverage. And Stephen Miller, I'm not surprised you were able to break that down because you've been dabbling as an analyst. I mean, Austin Toulouse could be in a little bit of trouble here if you ever do hang it up.
No, no, no. I'd won a couple games. That's not for me. I'll take a shot here and there. I think Toulouse might be a little bit more well versed for it. It's fun here and there for me. I don't know how I would do with the nerves every game, week in and week out.
Oh, that's a good answer because that'll allow me to circle back and say, Austin, you're the best, man. You're the best. I always give Austin Toulouse a hard time because his phone only takes incoming calls. You know, we're trying to work on him doing outcoming calls as well. Hey, we're watching Last Dance right now. We just showed you a ton of these players. Michael Jordan said Scottie Pippen was his best teammate ever. If you were pressed against the wall and said, hey, who's your best teammate ever? Who would you say, Stephen Miller?
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot there.
I am.
I honestly would have to say, I love playing with Nas and Deleuze. The two of them, it's hard. They're two of my best friends, so maybe it's a cop out. But Deleuze he's one of the smarter players. I think he never really got the credit. He was so good technically. He saw the game so well. He could do everything. Right foot, left foot, head the ball. He was just incredible. Worked super hard. And then Nas is just something special. He's a special talent. The guy, I've never seen somebody ride tackles better than him. He's better. He's faster on the ball than he is off of it. He's deceptive. He's explosive when you wouldn't expect him to be. Just two of the really, really good guys in the game and great players in the game.
One of the things that I've enjoyed, particularly being there from the start, back when we wore the orange as the Carolina Railhawks, and then Steve Malik saving the day, arguably one of the best owners in USL Championship, is the incredible fans. And you think about Ryan Jernigan and the Oak City supporters. Doesn't matter what the weather is, and we've had some bad weather out there. Doesn't matter when the event is, and we've had some incredible events. They're always there. Talk about that bond you've formed with the great fans of our club.
Yeah, I mean they've accepted me since my first day here. I came on loan as an unknown for 5 games in 2015, and they never treated me like I was this outsider. And I have a great connection with them. With Ryan, Ryan's one of my good friends. I hope I can go to his wedding whenever they reschedule it. But it's really fun. It's special to be able to have that connection to the fans, all the Oak City supporters and everybody. I coach girls teams in the youth for 3 years, and having my players out to games and cheering me on, it's so special. And I have such a bond with this community. And I've really made it home, and I love this place. So it's great to be able to give back a little, and have them come out and support me. It's just great.
We're at home with Stephen Miller. So, Stephen, let's put everything into the bowl of soup. Okay. We talked about the fans, we talked about the great players, we talked about the owner that really saved the franchise. Kurt Johnson does an amazing job. I mean, at the end of the day, the facilities are first class as well. I guess what I'm trying to say, it's not too shabby to make a living doing what you're doing right here at North Carolina FC.
Yeah, yeah, it's incredible. We got it made here. There's a reason why I've stuck around for this long. I'm a pretty loyal person, but if things weren't that good, you start to look for reasons to get out, and they're not giving me any. So I've been here for I don't know how long now, 5 years, and I'm here for the future as I see it. So I
Well,
love this place and this community and this club.
part of the reason things are good is it's Miller time every time he steps onto the field. We mentioned the great fans. Well, guess what? They sent in questions. We're going to take one more commercial break, and we're going to come back and pose the questions to Stephen Miller. Miller time at home with Stephen Miller.
A month from now, you'll be a little older. A year from now, you'll be a little wiser. Will you be stronger? Your best is not behind you. Look forward.
Welcome back to At Home With, brought to you by the fine corporate partners of the North Carolina Football Club. We are here with the co-captain for North Carolina FC, Stephen Miller, running up and down the right side, running up and down the left side, anywhere. He's always doing it with full effort. All right, Stephen Miller, we had people send in questions. Some of them are normal questions, some of them are random. You ready for anything?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. We got 5 questions sent in, and if people want to send in more, they can go to the chat line. Okay, here we go. Stephen Miller, which is harder, training without knowing when play resumes, or just being mentally exhausted from hearing all the news?
Um, I think training without knowing what's going on, that's mentally as draining as anything. It's tough to motivate yourself every day to get up and get your workout in. When there's, I guess you couple that with the news that you hear every day, and some of it's good, some of it's bad. And it's just like, there's so much uncertainty. So that uncertainty makes it really difficult to push yourself. But, hopefully we'll get some good news pretty soon about being able to return to play.
Yeah, amen, brother. Good answer. It's just crazy, crazy time. I like this question because I would like to think I'm involved in it a little bit. Somebody says, do you ever go back and watch goals on YouTube that you've scored?
Every once in a while, but mostly to make a highlight tape or something like that. Usually it's just I see the tweets that the club will tweet out of some goals, and I always hear Dean saying it's Miller time, and it's always fun. But I'd be lying if I said I hadn't gone back somewhat recently and watched a highlight tape that I made like last off season, just to go back and look at some of the goals I've scored.
It's kind of uncanny that the most viral North Carolina FC moment is when the team didn't score, when you guys had like 27 shots. It just went viral again. And then you hear Jason Gary, former Matt Herman Trophy, with that laugh that is just the best. I mean, every time I hear it and watch it, it feels like you guys scored 20 goals, but you didn't score at all. You know what I'm talking about. What do you think of that play?
God, it kills me because everybody knows it, everybody plays it, but that play kept us out of the playoffs. That goes in and we make the playoffs that year. So it's so frustrating for me to think of it through that, look at it through that lens, knowing that if T has a shot a half an inch to the left, we end up going to the playoffs, and who knows what happens. So it's still tough for me to watch.
I'll tell you a little known fact about that. Like I was so into it, so intense, that true story. Like as I'm calling it, and before Jason laughs, I almost like blacked out. I mean, it literally like I almost just went dark because it was so much movement. And if you listen back to it, I don't think I took a breath, did I?
No, you're incredible. You got every call, every part of it. You started laughing. Jason started. It was great. It was great.
I was this close to just going whoop, right like that. All right, a couple more questions from our great fans, the Oak City supporters. We love you. You guys are outstanding. This one, Stephen, how are the players keeping up soccer physical shape, I guess is what they meant to say during this time. And how is the management taking care of the players? I love what you said about the career summit, and Kerry Riccaro also talked about that. So physically, what are you doing? You touched on that earlier, but then how's the team taking care of you?
Yeah, so we actually just were able to progress into this week small group training. So this is the first time since this all started that we've been able to get out onto a field together. We're in groups of 4, still social distancing, no contact, no nothing within 6 feet. But it's been refreshing. We only had one day on Wednesday, another day tomorrow on the field, but that's kind of where we've progressed to. Before that, it was a lot of kind of you're working out with your roommate, you're doing stuff on the field if you can get to a field where there's actually space. If not, you're going for runs, you're doing your lifts. The club prescribes some stuff for us to do pretty much every day. So, but they've been good because they know this is uncertain times and weird times, and they know that it's tough for us. So they don't want us to burn out. So they're not like gung ho making sure that we're doing every single thing no matter what. They're giving us kind of guidelines of what we should be doing, and it's up to us as professionals to follow them. So we've all been doing that. So we've been staying fit, doing our own thing on the field, off the field, and like you said, we have this kind of future view of what life could be like after soccer that we're kind of grinding through a little bit too. So it's been good.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm so glad that you put the stamp on that, just like Kerry did. 2 more questions for you, Stephen Miller, as we appreciate your time as we're at home with Stephen Miller. And I like this question because one thing, if you hang out with the Oak City supporters, you realize very quickly that while they're fun and crazy, they're all smarter than I am. And I mean, they're well read. This question, I think, illustrates that. They said, what is something, and hang on here, Stephen, you've said you would do if you had the time, but now that you do have the time, you still haven't done it? I like that question. Something that you said you would do if you had the time. Of course, you got nothing but time right now, and you still haven't done it.
First thing that comes to mind is touch up the paint in my house. I've been saying for a few weeks that I was gonna do that for Taylor, and I haven't. I, I don't know. I actually feel like I've been pretty productive and gotten to a lot of things that I've wanted to get to.
That's good.
Um, but there are some things that like, which is probably good. Like, I'd love to be able to sit down and like play a video. I haven't played a video. I don't know. I'm not much of a gamer, but just to relax a little bit, maybe to sit down and play a video game. And I haven't had time. So maybe that's a good thing. Yeah, there's really nothing that comes to mind that's like something I've been dreaming about doing. And now that I have time, I should be doing it and I'm not. So I guess that's good.
All right. Austin Toulouse is on his way with a paintbrush and a bucket of paint for you. Okay. All right. Final question here from our fans. This is a good one, too, as well. And particularly since you're going through that career summit with the team. Stephen Miller, if you weren't a soccer player, what would your dream job be?
Basketball player? Is that allowed?
I like that.
I don't have the height or probably the skill, but no, I'll admit it. Basketball is my favorite sport to play. I love playing basketball. Um, so I would love
Can you
to.
shoot it? What's your game? Are you a 3-point
I'm
shooter?
not a great shooter. I was more get into the paint and hit some layups, get fouled, hit a couple of floaters from just inside the foul line, just kind of wreaking havoc and being that kind of guy. A lot of soccer players are good rebounders, good defenders. I like to think I have a little bit more to my game than that. I have a bet with Dre. We've had it for a few years and have never been able to play one-on-one, but at some point we're going to have a little one-on-one game to decide who's the better player. And he said he's been practicing. He sent me a video the other day of him hitting a shot, and he's been talking trash. Like, Dre, you have no chance.
Well, that was one of my questions that I actually had written down. Who is the best trash talker on the team? Somebody that no matter what is always going to win. And, you think about Michael Jordan. I think he talks some trash. Who's the best trash talker on the team?
Dre probably is the best trash talker just because he talks the most trash. I don't know that necessarily it's warranted or he can back it up in some regards, but um, there's not too many guys back in the day with Dre and Bolu on the team. Oh my God, those guys were tough. Those guys would never let you hear the end of it. They'd be, you know, we would play 5 games and we'd smash them 4, and they would win the last game by like 2 goals, and they thought they were the kings of the world. Uh,
Who's, who's got the best style on the team, Stephen Miller?
Best style on the team. Well, it's definitely not Christo. Um, I don't know because this is such a new team and we only had 1 game, so it's hard to even think back to that day in the locker room where people actually get dressed in something other than sweats.
Seems like DJ's got some style.
Yeah, DJ's got some. He's got some style, his own style. See, it's not my style. So,
All right,
I
let me
think
ask you this. Who's got
Haji probably has got some good style.
Haji? Okay. I look forward to getting to know him better. Who's got the least style? Who just always dresses like they just were hanging out with Oscar from Sesame Street?
You're also putting me in a bad spot there. Nas, maybe? Nas from back in the day for sure. Nas used to. Like years ago, he would wear like 3XL tees down past his knees and baggy pants and stuff. Yeah, he's sharpened up a little bit over the years. It's been and so have I. So I can't talk. I might be one of the guys with the worst style, but he's gotten a little bit better over the years.
So you mentioned Austin Toulouse. Did you play with Jason Gary at all, or did you come right after Jason Gary's
Yeah, I
year?
didn't play with Jason.
Okay. All right. But you got to know him a little bit, right? During his time
Yeah.
as an analyst. All right. Last question here. We mentioned Austin Toulouse hung him up, T. Shipolani. Is there another player that has come and gone that you really miss?
Yeah. Easy question. Billy Schuler, one of my best friends, incredible player. Just it's funny because we grew up playing together or playing against each other, and he was always the big name. He was Billy Schuler from PDA, went to UNC, and I always it was my dream to go to UNC. It never happened, obviously, and I thought this kid Billy Schuler had this ego, and I saw right before I signed on here for 2016 and that he signed, and I said, "Oh my God, I can't believe this guy. He's going to have an ego. I'm not going to like this guy." Um, and met him the first day I came into town, and like have been best friends ever since. So I couldn't have been more wrong about him. But he's I talk to him all the time still, and one of my favorite people. And he was an incredible player. I wish he stuck around for another couple of years because he was just finding himself in the then NASL. And I think he would have had a huge year in the USL. I think he would have put up 20 goals if he stuck around. But he's definitely somebody that I kind of wish would have seen it out at least another year, and definitely miss playing with him.
Yeah, I like Billy. I caught his games in college and pro. Great player. All right, as we wrap it up here, I said earlier, good things happen to good people. You're engaged, you're happy, you're delivering the goods on the field. People love you, they look up to you. And during these times of trouble, unprecedented times, they're going to look to you even more, Stephen Miller. So, with a little sound bite, as you look into the camera, any words of wisdom or inspiration for all of us, particularly the young fans looking up to you?
Yeah, I mean, just keep grinding through it. Find something every day you have to look forward to. That's what I do. You're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days, but as long as you have something every day, as little, even if it's something tiny, if you have something to look forward to, you're gonna get through it, and then you're gonna start having more good days than bad days. So I think that's what's important at this point: taking care of yourself mentally, physically, and knowing that this is gonna get better. And when it does, you're gonna be better for it, and we're all going to be better for it. So just keep grinding.
I love it. I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations on your engagement and marriage, and congratulations on all the great work you do out on the field. And thanks for always making time for me as well, Stephen Miller. Game day or non-game day, I always appreciate it.
Anytime, Dean. Anything for you.
All right, at home with Stephen Miller. I want to thank again the great corporate partners for bringing this together. I want to thank Jorge Acuna, the VP of Broadcasting, and all the great members. And of course, you, the fans, the Oak City supporters. Hey, let's get back out there for a little bit of how about North Carolina FC? Have a great night, everybody.